We've got a question along those lines from Karen Roper from Pickens, South Carolina. She asks, to you, Senator Clinton, that you have claimed that your presidency would bring change to America. I'm 38 years old, and I have never had an opportunity to vote in a presidential election in which a Bush or a Clinton wasn't on the ticket. How can you be an agent of change when we have had the same two families in the White House for the last 30 years?
Well, as I have often said, I regret deeply that there is a Bush in the White House at this time. But I think that what's great about our political system is that we are all judged on our own merits. You know, we come forward to the American public, and it's the most grueling political process one can imagine. We start from the same place. Nobody has an advantage, no matter who you are or where you came from. You have to raise the money. You have to make the case for yourself. And I want to be judged on my own merits. I don't want to be advantaged or disadvantaged. I'm very proud of my husband's administration. I think that there were a lot of good things that happened, and those good things really changed people's lives. The trajectory of change during those 8 years went from deficits and debt to a balanced budget and a surplus. All those 22 million new jobs and the hopefulness that people brought with them. And, you know, it did take a Clinton to clean after the first Bush, and I think it might take another one to clean up after the second Bush.
A few minutes ago, we heard Senator Clinton refer to her tenure in the United States Senate. And in fact, one of her overriding themes in this campaign has been her experience. And a lot of Americans agree that she is better prepared than you are to manage the nation's economy, to be commander-in-chief from day one. Why are they wrong?
A lot of Americans disagree and think that we need to move forward with new leadership. So that's why we're having this contest. You know, I have spent my entire adult life trying to bring about change in this country. I started off as a community organizer, working on the streets of Chicago, providing job training and after-school programs and economic development for neighborhoods that have been devastated by steel plants that had closed. I worked as a civil rights attorney, turning down lucrative corporate jobs to provide justice for those who'd been denied on the job or at the ballot box. I worked as a state legislator for years, providing health care to people who did not have it, reforming a death penalty system that was broken, providing tax relief to those who needed it. And in the United States Senate, I've worked on everything from nuclear proliferation to issues of alternative energy. And in each instance, what I've found is that the leadership that's needed is the ability to bring people together who otherwise don't see anything in common, the ability to overcome the special interests, and I passed both in Washington and in Illinois comprehensive ethics reform that opened up government so that the American people could be involved, and talking straight to the American people about how we're going to solve these problems and putting in the hard work of negotiations to get stuff done. So I respect Senator Clinton's record. I think it's a terrific record. But I also believe that the skills that I have are the ones that are needed right now to move the country forward. Otherwise, I wouldn't be running for President of the United States of America.
Senator Clinton, you've been a senator only a few more years than Senator Obama's been a senator. What experience as a First Lady qualifies you to be President of the United States?
Well, I would go back 35 years, Wolf, because when I first got out of law school, I didn't want to go to work for a law firm. I wanted to go to work for the Children's Defense Fund and to work on behalf of abused and neglected kids and kids with disabilities and kids who didn't have education or health care. And I really spent a great deal of my early adulthood, you know, bringing people together to help solve the problems of those who were without a voice and were certainly powerless. I was honored to be appointed by President Carter to the Legal Services Corporation, which I chaired. And we grew that corporation from 100 million to 300 million. It is the primary vehicle by which people are given access to our courts when they have civil problems that need to be taken care of. You know, I've run projects that provided aid for prisoners in prisons. I helped to reform the education system in Arkansas and expand rural health care. And I've had a lot of varied experiences, both in the private sector as well as the public and the not-for-profit sector. And certainly during those 8 years that I was privileged to be in the White House, I had a great deal of responsibility that was given to me to not only work on domestic issues like health care, and when we weren't successful on universal health care, I just turned around and said, well, we're going to get the Children's Health Insurance Program, and I'm so proud we do, because now 6 million children around the country every month get health care. And I took on the drug companies to make sure that they would test drugs to see if they were safe and effective for our kids, and began to change the adoption and foster care system. Here in California, because of the Adoption and Safe Families Act, we have 3 times more children being adopted out of foster care. And certainly the work that I was able to do around the world, going to more than 82 countries, negotiating with governments like Macedonia to open their border again, to let Kosovar refugees in, speaking on behalf of women's rights as human rights in Beijing, to send a message across the world that this is critical to who we are as Americans. And to go to the Senate and to begin to work across the party lines with people who honestly never thought they would work with me. But I believe public service is a trust, and I get up every day trying to make change in people's lives. And today we have 20,000 National Guard and Reserve members in California who have access to health care because I teamed up with Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina to get that done. Really positive change in people's lives in real ways that I am very proud of.
We've got a question on this that's come in on Politico.com, and it echoes, I think, a message that you all might be fighting up against if Mitt Romney turns out to be your opponent come the fall. We've talked about McCain, and now we have Romney's strengths to address. Now, Howard Meyerson of Pasadena, California, says he views the country as a very large business, and neither one of you have ever run a business. So why should either of you be elected to be CEO of the country?
Well, I would, with all due respect, say that the United States government is much more than a business. It is a trust. It is the most complicated organization, but it is not out to make a profit. It is out to help the American people. It is about to stand up for our values and to do what we should at home and around the world to keep faith with who we are as a country. And with all due respect, we have a president who basically ran as the CEO MBA president, and look what we got. I am not too happy about the results.
Let me just also point out that Mitt Romney hasn't gotten a very good return on his investment during this presidential campaign. So I'm happy to take a look at my management style during the course of this last year and his. I think they compare fairly well.
Senator Clinton, your husband has set off several firestorms in the last few weeks in early primary states with the way that he has criticized Senator Obama. Greg Craig, who was one of your husband's top lawyers and is now a senior advisor to Senator Obama, recently asked, if your campaign can't control the former president now, what will it be like when you're in the White House?
Well, one thing I think is fair to say, both Barack and I have very passionate spouses who promote and defend us at every turn. But the fact is that I'm running for president, and this is my campaign, and I have made it very clear that I want the campaign to stay focused on the issues that I'm concerned about, the kind of future that I want for our country, the work that I have done for all of these years, and that is what the campaign is about. And of course, I'm thrilled to have my husband and my daughter, who's here tonight, representing me and traveling around the country, speaking with people. But at the end of the day, it is my name that's on the ballot, and it will be my responsibility as President and Commander-in-Chief, after consulting broadly with a lot of people who have something to contribute to difficult decisions, I will have to make the call. And I am fully prepared to do that. And I know that as we go forward in this campaign, It's a choice between the two of us, and we're proud of our spouses, we're proud of our families, we're proud of everybody supporting us, but at the end of the day, it's a lonely job in the White House, and it is the President of the United States who has to make the decisions, and that is what I'm asking to be entrusted to do.